The history of fashion is a captivating journey through time, reflecting societal norms, cultural shifts, and artistic expressions. Each era brings with it a unique style, a distinct voice that speaks volumes about the people and the times they lived in. Fashion is not just about clothing, it is a mirror to society, capturing the essence of different periods in history. Among the vast array of garments that have adorned the human form, the skirt stands as a timeless piece with a rich and fascinating past. It is a garment that transcends cultures and epochs, a versatile piece that has been reimagined countless times. The skirt's journey through history is a testament to its enduring appeal and adaptability. From its ancient origins to its modern interpretations, the skirt has evolved dramatically, mirroring the changing roles of men and women throughout history. In ancient times, skirts were worn by both genders, often as a practical solution to the need for clothing that allowed freedom of movement. As societies evolved, so did the skirt, taking on new forms and meanings. This essay will delve into the captivating history of skirts, tracing their evolution from ancient civilizations to the 21st century. We will explore how skirts have been influenced by cultural, social, and economic factors, and how they have in turn influenced the way people live and perceive themselves. Skirts have been a staple in wardrobes across cultures for centuries, serving both practical and symbolic purposes. In many cultures, the skirt is more than just a piece of clothing. It is a symbol of identity, tradition, and heritage. The materials, colors, and designs of skirts can tell a story about the people who wear them and the societies they belong to. In ancient times, skirts provided warmth, protection, and modesty, while also signifying social status and cultural identity. The length, fabric, and decoration of a skirt could indicate a person's rank, wealth, and even their role within the community. Skirts were often made from locally available materials, reflecting the resources and technologies of the time. As societies progressed, skirts became increasingly stylized, reflecting evolving notions of beauty, femininity, and masculinity. The design and construction of skirts began to incorporate more complex techniques and materials, showcasing the artistry and craftsmanship of the time. Skirts became a canvas for expressing individuality and creativity. From the flowing robes of ancient Egypt to the elaborate hoop skirts of the Victorian era, skirts have consistently adapted to the prevailing fashions and social customs of each era. Each period brought with it new styles and silhouettes, influenced by the cultural and social dynamics of the time. The skirt's ability to evolve and remain relevant is a testament to its versatility and enduring appeal. The evolution of skirts is intricately intertwined with the changing roles of men and women throughout history. In many ancient cultures, skirts were worn by both men and women, with variations in length, fabric, and ornamentation signifying social standing and gender roles. Over time, these roles and the associated clothing began to shift, reflecting broader changes in society. In many cultures, skirts were initially worn by both genders, with variations in length, fabric, and ornamentation signifying social standing and gender roles. The skirt's design often reflected the wearer's status and role within their community, with more elaborate designs reserved for those of higher status. This practice can still be seen in some traditional cultures today. However, over time, societal norms shifted, leading to a more distinct separation between men's and women's attire. This shift was influenced by various factors, including changes in social structures, economic conditions, and cultural beliefs. As a result, skirts became more closely associated with femininity, while men's fashion moved towards trousers and other forms of legwear. This evolution is particularly evident in Western fashion, where skirts gradually became associated primarily with femininity and female identity. The skirt's journey in Western fashion reflects broader societal changes, including the women's rights movement and shifts in gender roles. Today, skirts continue to be a powerful symbol of femininity, while also being embraced by those who seek to challenge traditional gender norms. The earliest evidence of skirts dates back to ancient civilizations, where they were worn by both men and women as a practical and versatile garment. These early skirts were not just a fashion statement, but also served functional purposes, providing comfort and ease of movement in various activities, from daily chores to ceremonial events. In ancient Egypt, for instance, men and women alike donned simple linen skirts known as shendit. The shendit was a staple in Egyptian attire, reflecting the society's emphasis on simplicity and functionality. Linen, being a lightweight and breathable fabric, was ideal for the hot and arid climate of Egypt. These skirts, often depicted in hieroglyphics and tomb paintings, were typically wrapped around the waist and secured with a belt or sash. The method of wrapping and securing the shendit was an art in itself, with variations that indicated different social statuses and occasions. The length and elaborateness of the shendit varied, depending on social status, with pharaohs and high-ranking officials adorning themselves in longer, more ornate skirts. These ornate skirts often featured intricate pleating and were made from finer linen, sometimes even adorned with gold thread and precious stones. Women in ancient Egypt also wore a variety of other skirt-like garments, including the calasiris, a long, close-fitting dress that extended from the ankles to just below the breasts. The calasiris was a symbol of femininity and grace, often worn by women of higher social standing. The calasiris was often made of sheer linen and was sometimes worn over a shendit for added coverage. This layering not only provided additional modesty, but also allowed for a play of textures and transparency, adding to the visual appeal of the garment. These early skirts, crafted from natural materials like linen and papyrus, provided comfort in the hot Egyptian climate, while also reflecting the aesthetic sensibilities of the time. The use of natural materials was not just practical, but also a reflection of the Egyptians' deep connection with their environment. Moving beyond Egypt, skirts played a prominent role in the attire of other ancient cultures as well. Each civilization had its unique take on the skirt, adapting it to their specific needs and cultural contexts. In Mesopotamia, men and women alike wore kaunakis, which were skirts made from sheepskin or woven wool. The kaunakis was a distinctive garment, characterized by its tufted texture, which provided both warmth and a unique aesthetic. These skirts, often adorned with intricate patterns and fringes, provided warmth and protection from the elements. The patterns and fringes were not just decorative, but also held cultural significance, often indicating the wearer's status and role within the society. Similarly, in ancient Greece, both men and women wore chitons, which were simple tunic-like garments that could be draped in various ways to create different skirt lengths and styles. The chiton was a versatile garment, allowing for a range of expressions from the practical to the highly decorative. The skirts of ancient civilizations, while often simple in design, served as a foundation for the more elaborate and varied skirt styles that would emerge in later centuries. These early designs laid the groundwork for the evolution of skirts, influencing fashion trends for generations to come. From the practical shendit of ancient Egypt to the intricately patterned kaunakis of Mesopotamia, these early garments highlight the enduring appeal and versatility of the skirt as a fundamental element of human attire. The skirt's journey through history is a testament to its adaptability and timelessness, continuing to evolve while retaining its core essence. The Middle Ages witnessed a significant shift in clothing styles, particularly in Europe, where a more distinct separation between men's and women's attire began to emerge. This period, spanning roughly from the 5th to the late 15th century, saw dramatic changes in the way people dressed, influenced by various social, cultural, and economic factors. While skirts continued to be worn by both genders, their designs and symbolism diverged, reflecting evolving social norms and gender roles. For men, skirts were often practical and utilitarian, designed for ease of movement and daily activities. For women, skirts became more symbolic, representing modesty, virtue, and social status. Men's skirts, such as the tunic, gradually shortened, eventually evolving into tunics worn over hose or leggings. This change was partly due to the increasing importance of mobility and practicality in men's clothing, especially for those involved in physical labor or combat. This shift in men's fashion coincided with the rise of chivalry and the association of trousers with masculinity and martial prowess. Trousers, which allowed for greater freedom of movement, became a symbol of the knightly class and their martial skills. Women's skirts, on the other hand, remained long and flowing, often reaching the floor and concealing the shape of the body. These garments were designed to emphasize modesty and decorum in line with the societal expectations placed upon women during this period. This emphasis on modesty and concealment was influenced by the prevailing religious beliefs of the time, which emphasized women's piety and subservience. The church played a significant role in dictating fashion, promoting styles that aligned with its moral teachings. The kirtle, a long fitted gown worn over a chemise or underdress, became a staple garment for women of all social classes. This versatile piece could be worn alone or layered with other garments, making it a practical choice for daily wear. These kirtles were often made of wool or linen and were typically belted at the waist, creating a flowing silhouette that accentuated the female form while still adhering to the era's standards of modesty. The use of belts also allowed for some degree of customization, as women could adjust the fit to their liking. During the later Middle Ages, as trade routes expanded and new fabrics and styles were introduced to Europe, women's skirts became increasingly elaborate and ornate. The influx of luxurious materials such as silk and velvet, along with intricate embroidery and embellishments, reflected the growing wealth and sophistication of European society. The cotehardie, a close-fitting gown with a low neckline and often featuring elaborate lacing or buttons, emerged as a fashionable garment among aristocratic women. This style highlighted the wearer's status and wealth, as the intricate details and fine materials were often expensive and time-consuming to produce. These cotehardies were often paired with long, flowing overgowns, known as surcoats or mantles, which added an extra layer of warmth and elegance. The surcoat, often made from rich fabrics and adorned with fur or embroidery, served both practical and decorative purposes. The Middle Ages marked a turning point in the history of skirts as they transitioned from a unisex garment to one primarily associated with femininity. This shift was influenced by changing perceptions of gender and the roles that men and women were expected to play in society. This shift in dress codes reflected the evolving societal norms and gender roles of the era, paving the way for the more elaborate and varied skirt styles that would emerge in the centuries to follow. As society continued to evolve, so too did fashion, with each subsequent era building upon the foundations laid during the Middle Ages. Please leave a comment and let us know your views.